Thanks.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the IFX 2016. We're right here at Codicea Trade Fair Complex in Coimbatore this year, and Coimbatore is in the southern part of India. Well, we have with us our special guest, Mr. S.K. Ahuja. He is the chairman for Quality Castings. Thank you very much, sir, for stopping by at the Forest Polymer stall. How has your day been today?
I feel fine.
You feel fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen other stalls?
Actually, I just come today. I was in inauguration yesterday. It was something entirely a different show, very impressive. And exhibition standard is really much better, and I can say you can compare with GIFA.
Wow.
So
okay.
I think our institute is doing a good job.
Yeah. And I think I remember meeting you 2 or 3 years back in Bangalore.
But Bangalore we met.
And the IFX Bangalore. How would you compare the IFX Coimbatore with Bangalore? Or with other places that have happened in the previous years?
Coimbatore has been definitely much more foundry-oriented place than Bangalore. And of course, it just happens that in an institute, we do sometime in western zone, sometimes in southern zone. And when you do in southern zone, you decide whether to do in Chennai or Bangalore or Coimbatore. I would say Coimbatore has been always successful, being the foundry hub of South.
Okay,
it's a foundry hub of South.
Oh,
most of the foundries have started from here, maybe due to textile industry, due to engineering industry.
That is what came to my mind when
yes,
you said hub.
Yes.
And it's also the Manchester.
And I would say, still is the most quiet place for setting up units in Coimbatore.
Would you say it's conducive then?
Still, it has not lost the technical know-how, and it has not lost the people who are willing to work in this field. Normally, people don't like to work in foundries these days. They are more towards IT and all. But people from Coimbatore, I would say to industries, foundry industries, Coimbatore is one of the major city who has given different foundry workers, foundry staff, foundry engineers and foundry technologies to Indian foundry industry.
Right. Well, you've been in this industry for a long time.
Now 54 years, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, that is a long time. It's half a century. Okay.
And I'm still active.
Very good. Good to see you. Yeah, I was just going to say that I met you 3 years back and you look just the same. You know, God bless. It's wonderful to see you again, healthy. So tell us, you know, you are a businessman from the Gulf and you're trying to set up some businesses here as well in India. What are some of the hurdles that you face here, and how do you think we can overcome some of these hurdles? Can you propose some solutions?
Yes, I'll tell you very frankly, I've been personally trying to set up things here. Of course, the land cost is going up like anything, which really should not, because government should make land cost more attractive for the people to come back and start. Another thing, whatever you call it, government procedures, project approvals, setting up the plants, setting up things are still very long. I can say with my experience in Gulf, when I went to set my project over there, I could get license and everything in just one day. They just saw the project, and not only they helped me even to go to the banks, even to the custom, everything. And it is like a one window. And we certainly need, if we want foreign investors, our own Indian NRIs to come back, we certainly need a very similar type of atmosphere. And probably, you know, India is such a large country where people have different choice whether they want to set up in south or north or east or west. And I have definitely a suggestion, maybe if government can hear to those things, is that this power of setting up industries, approval, should be assigned to the consulates. Not only set up the industry, you have to get the approvals, which is very difficult. And I personally feel that, like there are exhibitions for every year for building and other things.
Right.
People go, different developers, they go over there, they market their product.
Yeah.
Here, government does not have to market the product. Government has to set up convenience.
Right.
I mean, in our free zone, Fujairah, we call zone of convenience. We have to make in India, but for that, we have to make it a zone of convenience.
Yeah.
Zone of convenience is totally lacking, for which people, small people like me, big industries can really do it. But probably we can invite more small entrepreneurs who have gone from here abroad, can be brought back.
Yeah.
And certainly, at least I want to come back. I want to set up things here as a backup, because there is nothing more safe place than your own country. But setting up is sometime is a dream here. Government has put up policies, they have given tax rebates, but we do not know how to really process. But the same thing, if can be done, can be approved, can be explained by the consulate or embassies in different parts of the world, you will see a different scenario. People will come, and today probably India can be, of course, in coming 10 years, can be the biggest economy, because we have got the manpower, we have got the will, we have got the land, we have got resources, and those resources are still not utilized. So I personally feel if this message can go to the government, and they can say, yes, we'll set up sectors for investors, maybe once a week, once a month, in different part of the consulates. Whosoever is interested will certainly like to come back.
Right, right.
And
So it's like
I personally can
providing
assure
the
that,
opportunity and making it very easy for people who want to come from abroad and start up small businesses here as well.
I mean, it
Quick
is,
turnaround time,
see,
good system.
small business people cannot afford to spend weeks here
Exactly.
to get the
That's
approval, put the
yeah.
project, put the things.
Right.
If somebody is running a successful project in other countries and he wants to duplicate the similar project here, there is the question of sanctioning the project. Okay, the consulate himself can visualize that this project is running and is worth bringing to India,
Right.
and that will expedite things.
Yeah. So you're saying approvals have to be given at that level, responsibilities to be given to
To the
consulate.
consulate itself,
Right, right.
instead of passing through the 10 offices, and
Yes.
I mean,
The message gets lost when
this
it's
is
going
the
round
same
and round.
in all free zone.
Right.
In UAE, it is same thing. It is just one window,
Right.
and let that one window be assigned to the consulate general.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful point that you made here. You're talking about common man spending cycles over this instead of focusing on the business itself.
No, I can tell you examples. The big companies, they have infrastructures, they've got manpower, but small entrepreneurs who are really finding it very difficult in the Middle East today,
Right.
I'll say at least 80% people will certainly come back and start here.
Right.
It's not easy to do business these days, but probably India being rupee today, okay, weak, has got definite advantage of export, and people have successful project running outside. Why there should be a question of approval
Right.
and going through all those cycles? Okay, you want to set up similar project, similar environment conditions, your project is approved, and you'll see how things can go. And there should be some incentive to get the cheap land. Land costs have in past 5 years have gone 5 times more. Same land which was available in say 800 square feet today is 2,000. So that has no justification. How the land cost can inflate? If you are developing a new plot, new land, one can understand the development cost has increased. But land which was purchased, which was available, and now you can't say you came here 5 years before it was 800, now you have to pay 2,000. So that is another step to invite a special concessional rate of land to the foreign investors, especially the Indian investors.
Tell me a little bit about this. I see a lot of special economic zones being sanctioned. Would something like that help the foundry industry as well?
Sets SEZ zone, and foundry, which is the mother industry, does not get preference. They want ITs, they want logistics, they want, other type of industries. Foundry industry is a mother industry. If country has to grow, SEZ zones, of course, and keeping the environment in control. If somebody is able to run the industry in foreign countries with that environment control, that industry should get approval by itself and should get the foundry. I wanted to set up in Baroda, and they said now foundries are not allowed here. So where should I go? That is preventing us to coming back to India.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, we have got.
Instead of facilitating.
Yes.
You're saying the policies are made in such a way that it is made difficult for
It's very
people to send down.
Very difficult.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's a good point. Thanks for sharing that with us. Where do you think this industry is heading? I mean, in general, you can tell me overseas, abroad, anywhere. And then where is it heading in specific in India?
See, India can participate much better even in the recession time. We are understanding that the mining industry, particularly automotive industries, due to overcapacity, and is little down. But in mining, there are certain industries which are like a commodity. As you need food every day, that machine needs casting every day. I'm talking related to the foundry industry, and I'm seeing the just round I had. I would say India has done great improvement on auxiliary equipment. Main equipment still we are far behind. We need to have those heavier equipment done over here. I know people will say it's not economical to produce, but with certain incentives, things can be done. And world scenario is bad, but it's not going to remain like this. This type of up and down in automotive industry in India there was a cycle of every 3 years. Then it went to 5 years, but it again came up. Similarly, is for other industries.
Right?
Yes.
Every industry goes through its
Up and
down.
they go up and down.
Yeah, yeah.
And automotive industry is very famous for that.
Okay, okay.
But I would say I'm still strong supporter of promoting mining,
Where are
dredging.
we in the circle now? Are we up? Are we down?
Till today also, we don't have a company, though there is a dredging company corporation, but there is no company who is doing really any improvement on dredging equipment or can produce dredging equipment. Or can take contract of dredging, because dredging is never going to die. Simply, the industry which I don't see is the shredding. Car shredding. We still import millions of tons of shredded scrap from US, while we have got old scrap, old, you can say cars or trucks or whatever is there. If shredder industry can be incorporated, we can certainly reduce the import of scrap, and scrap will be available at cheaper cost to Indian foundry industries. They will be more competitive, and that's what China is doing.
Well, thank you for sharing those points as well with us. Thank you so much for patiently talking to us about the challenges in this industry, about the challenges that entrepreneurs from other countries face when they come and set up their businesses here, about the land costs and all of the other things that one encounters in the foundry industry. Thanks so much for stopping by. We wish you a pleasant day here at the
Thank you. Thank you.